Oh, wow. I did not know that was a thing.
Animal Duty.
Once again, can we like retire that name? Animal Duty.
Hopefully I can give you a good understanding of where the fish faction fits into the current meta. And if there's a
Fish
fish I
faction.
didn't include, hopefully by
Say
seeing my
that
logic
10
in this video,
times
you'll be
fast.
able to evaluate that fish build yourself.
What the hell? Did you guys know that fish were so mean?
The basic fish build is most famous for its use of the fin and gill abilities, both of which offer huge advantages in water while predictably being entirely useless on land. Back during the Devonian expansion, long before the vertebrate faction had unlocked terrestrial builds, fish were the top tier build in the game, having a crushing matchup against the top arthropods, their main competitors.
Because of sharks though, right? Like any fish were the top in the game? Also, there's a fish that can walk on land, right? You can't say it's completely useless then, can you? I guess you can. Just moving at a slow pace doesn't really count.
In today's meta though, fish have to compete with a lot more than just arthropods, and typically place below the top marine build.
Where the hell is that octopus's leg? Octopus legs are like lizard tails, right?
Fish have had to get creative with their game strategies in order to survive the current meta.
Isn't that so inefficient? Why does the eel swim like that? And is an eel a fish or a reptile? Wait, I didn't know a seahorse was a fish. Did you know that? I don't know what else I thought it was, but...
Seahorses are an extremely strange build with the lowest mobility stat of any fish in the game. This mobility stat is due entirely to their strange choice to spec into the prehensile tail ability at the cost of all but one of their fins. Now don't get me wrong, the prehensile tail ability can be extremely useful, especially for arboreal builds that use them to tether themselves to trees while keeping their hands and legs free for foraging. For a marine build though, I think there are better choices available.
How is it moving? I don't get it. It's just floating to wherever it wants. How does that work? Is it like flapping its fin?
Tail does.
Oh, it is.
Allow the seahorse to anchor itself to plants and rocks, preventing itself from getting tossed around by the current, which again it wouldn't need to do if it didn't lack fins. Now, they do have pretty solid armor, which can make them difficult to actually take out, but their extreme lack of mobility means the seahorse cannot dodge attacks. This leads them to getting smacked around by any player who feels like it, even ones without any
Why
special
do they
combat
feel
builds.
like it though?
And with their best matchup being against plankton,
You
to
gonna
me,
eat
there's
it?
no way the seahorse places any higher than F tier.
Aww. But the men can get pregnant.
The ocean sunfish has the highest HP stat of any fish in the game, and relies on its giant size
How big
for
is that?
protection. Similar to the seahorse, the sunfish's other stats are all extremely low, and because of this, the sunfish gets bullied hard by many of the common
Really?
marine threats,
But it
both
has so
large
much
and
HP.
small. They get torn to bits and tossed
Oh,
around
no.
particularly badly by the mammalian player base.
Why?
Sea
Just having
lions
fun?
and orcas in particular
they eat it?
love flexing their superiority over the largest fish build in the game. But the sunfish has another huge weakness: parasites. See, the sunfish has soft, mucus-coated skin instead of the scales traditionally used by fish players.
Wow,
This makes
sucks to be a
sunfish more
sunfish,
vulnerable
huh?
to parasites, which unfortunately means that even the best sunfish mains have to play while suffering from a wide variety of debuffs from parasite
Wow,
infestations.
that sucks. What dolphins do to pufferfish to get high? They do? The real question is, what's the best human build? drmoproductions subscribers, of course. Obviously. That's the cream of the crop.
To help cleanse themselves, and may even sit at the water's surface to give bird mains the chance to attack the parasites.
Nice.
The gigantism strategy is usually a pretty reliable strategy for avoiding attacks. Elephants, whales, hippos, and rhinos are generally safe from attacks once they reach their max size. However, I think in order to make the strategy work, you need to actually be able to strike back to discourage repeated attacks.
The elephant can pick you up, throw you away, kick you, punch you, stab you. Bruh. Don't know how they punch. I was thinking of a trunk as a punch, you know?
Otherwise, you're kinda just a damage sponge and will have your HP slowly whittled down, as we often see happen to the sunfish mains. So because of all these vulnerabilities and over-reliance on support players for help, I have to place the ocean sunfish in F tier.
Flying fish!
The flying fish is a build with an extremely unique playstyle centered around maximizing mobility. They've actually gained the ability to glide through the air for surprisingly long distances. This is useful as an escape option when being attacked by a larger fish player.
Nice. How long can it go like that? It's still in the water, kind of.
However, as unique a move as this is, I actually think this is a pretty poor strategy overall. Being airborne might put you out of range of an attack from another fish, but it's by no means a safe position, and in many cases is actually seriously disadvantageous. Without any way to dodge attacks midair, flying fish are extremely vulnerable to bird attacks, which kind of nullifies the benefit of escaping an aquatic pursuer. And in addition, with no way to change direction midair, it's actually not that difficult for said fish player to just intercept the flying fish's landing. So overall, not that useful of an ability.
But still looks pretty cool.
Also in D tier we have the Salmon family, which includes the fish builds like the Trout and the Char. This build actually has some pretty impressive stats, with high mobility being pretty much required in order to withstand the constant rushing flow of the rivers that they use as their respawn points.
Why do they do that? Why do salmons do that? Can they not just lay eggs there? Why do they gotta go?
To the flying fish, this playstyle is also highly vulnerable to disruption from non-aquatic players.
Just waiting.
As impressive.
Come on, jump higher. My mouth is right here. Come on, jump higher.
The sad truth is that the thing that they're most well known for is being an easy.
I was kidding! I thought I wasn't hungry or something. You didn't have to move a paw.
Source of XP for carnivore players. Now, this jumping ability is also useful for attacking flying builds midair, but the salmon's power stat isn't quite enough to be able to take down anything that isn't far below their weight class.
How do they see those dragonflies? Catfish!
At the bottom of C tier, we have the catfish. They've actually got a few decent unique abilities, most important of which is their venom. Rather than speccing their fin appendages to do things like flying or flexing, the catfish will spec into fins that have barbs on them, which can deliver a venomous sting.
The unique ability of catfish is that it can catfish anyone. Right. Literally.
The only fish build with the ability
so
to use
good. Oh
attack.
my god, I love that so much.
This projectile deals essentially 0 damage, but it's by no means
so good
useless.
at aiming.
This projectile
How?
has high knockback, making it excellent for pushing players into vulnerable positions. A waterlogged insect is one of the easiest targets in the game.
That's my favorite fish now. I love it. Archer fish. So good. I guess lionfish is pretty cool too. I don't know.
This attack is unusable in the water. The water leaves you vulnerable to both attacks from below and above. And with no defense against either, the archerfish is a high-risk, decent reward build.
Bass.
The poster child for the phrase, big fish in a small pond. With solid stats and the ability to grow larger than most other freshwater lake fish, the bass can easily dominate their local scene, even to the point of depleting the area of resources by gobbling them all up. Their generalist nature and large jaws mean they can prey upon just about anything, from smaller fish to crustaceans to even builds like frogs and alligators, and I consider them the gatekeepers of the higher tiers. Also in B tier we have the fish faction's premier support class, the Cleaner Ross. The Cleaner Ross specializes in cleansing larger fish players of parasites.
That's a B tier?
Providing an extremely useful service in the form of removing debuffs from any fish player in need, similar to the Oxpecker on land. Parasites are a major threat to fish players, so it's no surprise that oftentimes even top tier builds like Sharks
don't most of them have scales though?
Will add Cleaner Ross players to their party.
Hooray!
Ross do have to rely on their reputation to protect them though, and while betrayals during cleansing sessions are rare, swimming into a mouthful of dagger-like teeth is not without risk. The pike and muskellunge, the most fearsome freshwater fish in the game. These vicious fish builds are highly aggressive and attack anything powerful jaws sport sharp crocodile-esque teeth, which deal serious damage and grip their target, preventing their escape. It's not just about power with these fish. Their slender body and camouflage allow them to easily hide in cover, waiting for the perfect ambush opportunity. And unlike trout, when these fish jump, it's not just to clear an obstacle, they jump to attack.
Oh my god, did it die? Oh no.
While not part of the Pickerel Guild, I also include the Barracuda in this same rating, as they have a very similar playstyle.
Isn't Barracuda such a cool name? Barracuda is what killed Nemo's mom. No.
The Piranha.
Ooh.
Piranhas are one of the best, if not the best, example of how with the right combination of special abilities and team strategies, size genuinely doesn't matter. Their special ability
Anyone else play Donkey Kong?
and team strategies, size genuinely doesn't matter. Their special ability, Feeding Frenzy, boosts Piranha Shoal DPS to one of the highest in the game, able to absolutely melt through the HP of even the tankiest targets.
Even
in contrast to the
Sunfish?
salmon and trout, because of their favorable matchup against larger
No!
players, piranhas are the only fish build on this list
No,
that
the
I think
beaver!
actually make great use of its positional
Getting eaten
advantage in
alive?
river, as many mammals.
Why did the capybara cross the river? It didn't.
The only fish build on this list that I think actually make great use of its positional advantage in rivers, as many mammals and birdmates will be forced to cross your territory over the course of their playthrough and fall victim to your frenzy attacks.
No,
Their main weakness
that's
is
so
a lack
sad.
of defensive capability, meaning that they can still be easily one-shot by other predators.
Look at those bulging eyes. Oh my god. That's what I call exophthalmos.
The next build on this tier list does not share this weakness.
Lionfish!
The Lionfish is one of the most well-defended fish builds in the game.
Look at
relying
it.
On a huge
It's awesome.
arsenal of venomous spines to deal serious damage to attackers, similar to the porcupine build on land. Because of this, the Lionfish is an infamously unpleasant
Wait, the
target.
porcupines are venomous? I didn't know that. Poggers again? Yes. So we got 2 poggers fish, 1 lionfish and 1 archerfish. Maybe we can give it to a pufferfish as well. We'll see, we'll see.
Lionfish are also generalists, who gobble up anything that their low mobility stat allows them to catch.
That
which
look
can
pretty
quickly
mobile.
deplete a server of its resources.
Is that its
And
mouth or
because of their
skills?
quick
That looks pretty
respawn
open.
rate, lionfish have rapidly spread to other ocean servers without much pushback.
They look so
At least
cool!
until they reach the tropical Atlantic. See, there is one fish build that has been able to consistently take down lionfish, and once I show you how broken some of their abilities are, it'll be easy to understand
eel?
why.
Porcupines, when pregnant, their childs already have pointy hair, and it can puncture the mother's stomach? What?
One of the most uniquely powerful fish in the game. Their teeth resemble broken glass and can do similarly brutal damage in combat. Their mobility is surprisingly high for a fish that lacks pectoral and pelvic fins. But in addition to having great maneuverability in the tight spaces,
But it has a huge dorsal fin.
their ability to contort and fit into crevices and other tight spaces gives them a pretty huge advantage for ambushing
Do they ever
other
get
players.
stuck?
Where things get interesting though is with their defense. The moray has a slime-based special ability, which serves multiple defensive purposes. It protects them from taking abrasion and puncture damage while passing through sharp coral and jagged spaces
cool.
within the reef. But perhaps more surprisingly, it's great at deflecting damage from things like teeth and spikes. Not only does this give them a great matchup against sharks, but it also makes them one of the only builds in the game capable of taking down the lionfish. This excellent matchup spread makes placing the moray eel in S tier an easy decision.
Billfish! Aw, no pufferfish.
The
Unlucky.
final this group is top tier for 2 reasons. First is that they have the highest swim speed in the game, beating out not just all other fish, but also mammals and birds. In addition to having unmatched speed, their large dorsal fins allow them to make tighter turns than most fish too, making
That
them
is
extremely
so
good at
good.
chasing.
You remember that video where the cat and the squirrel were going like zigzagging together?
Their agility should be more than enough to allow
Look
them
at
to
that
escape
quickness!
most dangerous situations.
Oh my god! That kind of reminded me of that. Well, a very bootleg version of
Their
that.
turns
But
than
those are
most fish,
fast
too,
turns.
making them extremely good at chasing down prey. Their most unique trait, however, is their bill.
In
one
water,
of the
no less.
strangest offensive abilities in the game.
Nice.
Useful for both slashing and stabbing.
I love
this
it.
This attack is one of the few in the game able to hit multiple targets at once. This makes it excellent for countering the ubiquitous safety in numbers strategy many fish players adopt. And since the billfish hunt in packs, they can rack up insane kill counts, rivaling the hunting prowess of even a pot of dolphins. With busted stats and a signature move that's both flashy and downright broken, to me there's no question that the billfish is the most overpowered fish build in the game. Sure,
Lionfish, A tier.
adaptation
I like the
can come
billfish
back,
now too though,
and
because of
it's
the
important to
mobility.
always-
More TierZoo, I want more TierZoo. Click, 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 click for TierZoo.